take a look at Riff Raff. So this one is tuned up about 1/8 of a step, so it's a little bit sharp from standard. So we know Angus has got that opening riff, you know, that he's playing at right at the beginning there, and then you'll hear Cliff come in on the bass, and then about 30 seconds into the track, Malcolm will join in, and we're just going to be playing this open A string, strumming it back and forth, or picking it back and forth really, until we turn it into an A chord right at the end. You're just kind of building up speed. So all right, then we've got the main riff, so we're going to play A 3 times. Then we're going to start on that 3rd fret on the A string to our 4th fret on the A string, to our 2nd fret on the D, to our 4th fret on the D, back to our A string on the 3rd fret, open A. And then we're going to come down here and grab the 5th fret on the D, back to our 3rd fret on the A string to open A. So all together we have. And you want to try to alternate pick those notes if you can. You can kind of hammer on a little bit in some spots as well. Then we're going to play D, G, D, and then just go back to that riff, that main riff. Then we'll get to D, G, D again, and right after that last D, we're going to hit this open E string and go down here and play this other riff. So we're going to have. And now we're going to come down here, first finger on the 4th fret of the A string, and I'm using my ring finger on the 5th fret of the D. And we're just going to move this back and forth between these two positions. So we're just sliding it up a half a step. So now we're on the 5th fret of the A and the 6th fret of the D. And then we're going to be hitting that open E in between those. So. Alright, now you're trying to get that open E in there. Alright, it's a little bit tricky to get that right at first. And then, you know, Angus is just playing those single notes. And then he's throwing in a. But Malcolm really just stays on those chords there. Alright, then when the vocals start, we're going to go back into that main riff. And then right at the end of the main riff, instead of just hitting an A chord, you're going to want to hit some open strings. So open A and D to A. All right, the vocals start. We're going to do that same thing. And then we're going to come down here to the 7th fret and play the B string and the G string and kind of bend it up a little bit. Now I'm using these fingers here for this, or maybe I was using those, but I'm not doing this because these strings are 12 gauge and a little hard to bend, so we're going to have. You kind of bend it up and bringing it back. And that last time you grab that C note to that A chord. All right, and then you go back into the D, G, and D. So that's it for all the main parts. Let's take a look at the guitar solo. There's a lot of changes coming up in that and how this one wraps up. right, so during the guitar solo, Malcolm's going to play this A chord. When we get to the A chord, he's going to play it 3 different ways during the guitar solo, the 3 different sections of it anyway. So the first time, we're coming off of this riff, right? And then we're going to start up here in A when the solo gets started. We're going to play 3 and 4 on the A string and then grab that 3rd note on the A string to an A chord. Right, and then we're just going to play A, D, A, D. Now, what's important when you go back to the D the last time? Open strings to D. Right, and then we go back to A, D, A, D again, and then you're going to eventually end up on E. Play this part again. And then we're going to go back to our second time on the A chord, and now we're going to play it a little bit like the opening riff. So we're going to play A chord, 3rd fret on the A, 4th fret on the A, 2nd fret on the D, 4th fret on the D, 3rd fret on the A, back to A. And we do that same thing. Then we go back and we play that same lick again. You'll go back to E again, like we did before. And then the last time we go to A, sounds like he's just grabbing this 3rd fret on the A string to this A chord. All right, and then we get to the second verse, and I think it actually ends on a, where you have those open strings to A. All right, and that's coming out of the guitar solo. Then we get to the second verse, and really right before the second verse, you just have them playing this A chord. Right, I just want to make sure that you're always playing those open strings to that A chord in a lot of this, instead of just straight to the A chord. All right, and then we just finish it up with the same thing. The second verse is the same as before. We just play A, we bend up on that 7th fret on the B and the G. And then the last little thing here, when they're winding the song down, it's kind of just playing that same riff, but just kind of strumming through everything. All right, then it ends on that A chord. So that's it for this one. We'll see you next time.